Hi, John Duralis, 16-year professional educator, most of that time spent teaching world history and U.S. history, predominantly world. And during that time, love what I do, but I've seen a lot of folks really kind of challenge what it is that I do because it's so different than the way that they learned history back when they were in school, or even when I was in school. I'm approaching 40 years, so 40 years old. So about 20 years ago, like when I was in school, it's very different. How we learned history, how we approach it, how we engage with it. Certainly is very different, and sometimes people are fearful of what is different, and I totally respect that, I totally understand that. Okay, but here's the reason why. Right, the number one reason why we can't just do history in a way that is just factually based only. All right, or like rote memorization. Tell me the names of the 45 presidents and who were their vice presidents, which political party they were, so on and so forth, right? And memorize them because we're gonna test you on this, or memorize all the states and their capitals, right? All this rote memorization, which was the driving force when we were in school. But the reason why we can't do that now is because we are inundated with information. We're inundated with information. We're on information overload. Okay, every social media post, every social media outlet, every internet page. I mean, let's not forget that if you have a question about anything history related, you can go to a search engine and within seconds you can find the answer. Or better yet, like I've got a listening to one of these home devices right now. So Alexa, who's the 10th president of the United States?
The 10th President of the United States was John Tyler, who took office on April 4th, 1841.
Okay, and you probably learned some kind of mnemonic device like Tippecanoe and Tyler too. Alexa, who was his vice president?
John Tyler did not have a vice president.
Oh, okay, so very interesting. And but you get the point, right? So facts and information is not the problem. Having access to facts and information is not the problem. Okay, and so the reason why we went to rote memorization when we were in school, like people my age and older, is because information wasn't as readily available. Okay, so you had to store it somewhere, right? And so now that we are just inundated with information, now we have to be able to do a much better job at equipping our young people and then eventually our citizens with the ability to sift through implicit bias or inherent bias or confirmation bias, right? Because this is what you see playing out with folks our age and older is making a social media post because they want to believe it, right? Because there hasn't really been this push or encouragement amongst us or ourselves to really engage in the material. And one thing that we do in my class is looking at the origin, the purpose, the value, and the limitation. Okay, where did the source come from? Why was it written? What is the value that can be ascertained from this? And what is the limitation or the inherent bias within the source itself? Okay, that is what we're trying to do. This isn't part of this radical, left-wing agenda or right-wing agenda. It's no agenda other than getting kids to think critically. Okay, analyze, synthesize, and evaluate. That's what we need to be doing, equipping our kids and eventually our citizens to be able to think critically, okay, and understand that. And if we're just flooding them with information, now it's what do you do with that information? What does it mean? Okay, and again, that's why our inboxes, our timelines are just flooded with stuff that's. If it's not authored, edited, or published, then why is it getting posted? Okay, if it's that's why there's so many ideas of conspiracy theories and things of that nature. Not to say that every conspiracy theory is false. I haven't done enough research to diving in a deep dive enough into all these to figure out one way or the other. But the fact that we are becoming so susceptible to buying into anything that we want to believe is true or that we want to believe is not true is evidence that just factually based history is insufficient in today's world. Okay? We have access to the information, we have access to facts, but now we must think critically and analyze the sources in which we are looking at and evaluate the sources in which we're looking at: origin, purpose, value, limitation. Okay? You're not going to get rid of bias. It's always going to be there. But this idea of confirmation bias, I want to believe this, so I'm going to deliberately seek out the information that's going to support my conclusions. That's where the danger lies. Okay? So, it drives me nuts on an almost daily basis. So hopefully this makes a little bit of sense.